Hello, my amazing English learners. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am absolutely thrilled to have you joining me today. Whether you're taking a leisurely walk, navigating through traffic, whipping up a delicious meal, or simply unwinding and relaxing. Thank you so much for being here and tuning into this podcast. Your presence truly means a lot to me. I'm genuinely excited to be a part of your English learning journey. In today's hour-long deep dive, we're going to tackle a challenge that many English learners grapple with: understanding native speakers. I know it can feel incredibly tough, can't it? Especially when native speakers seem to talk at lightning speed, pepper their conversations with unfamiliar slang, articulate words in ways that can be downright confusing. You might find yourself asking, why is it so hard for me to understand English speakers? Or how on earth do I keep up with their rapid-fire conversations? Don't worry, my friend. You are absolutely not alone. This is a very common feeling among learners. But here's the incredibly good news. You can absolutely, unequivocally improve your ability to understand native speakers. And that's exactly what we're going to do in this episode. We'll break everything down, step by step, and I'll share some incredibly powerful and practical tips that will not only make it easier for you to understand native speakers, but will also boost your confidence in your English listening skills. So, are you ready? Let's dive in. Why understanding native speakers can be a challenge first. Let's unpack why understanding native speakers can feel so difficult. You might think that simply knowing a lot of vocabulary or mastering grammar rules is enough, but that's only part of the story. Understanding spoken English, especially from native speakers, is a different beast altogether. This is due to several key factors like speed, accents, slang, and connected speech. Don't worry if those terms sound a bit intimidating right now. We're going to explore each one in detail. Have you ever been in a conversation with a native English speaker and felt completely lost? You might have caught a few words here and there, but the rest of it just seemed like a blur. This is a very common experience for English learners. And it happens for a few distinct reasons. 1. The speed factor. Native speakers often speak quickly, and they don't always pronounce every word clearly and distinctly. They might blend words together, drop certain sounds, or frequently use contractions like I'm instead of I am, you're instead of you are, or we've instead of we have. This can make it incredibly challenging to understand. For instance, when native speakers say gonna instead of going to, or wanna instead of want to. It sounds vastly different from what you might have meticulously learned in textbooks or during traditional lessons. This natural flow of speech can be a significant hurdle too. The world of accents and dialects. English is spoken all around the globe. Every region, and often even smaller communities, has its own unique way of speaking. Whether it's the crisp sounds of an American accent, the distinct rhythm of a British accent, the lively tones of an Australian accent, or any other accent from the countless places where English is spoken, each has its own unique sounds, pronunciations, and rhythmic patterns. When you're listening to someone with an accent that's different from what you're used to, it can genuinely feel like they're speaking a completely different language, even though it's still English. 3. The informal side. Slang and idioms. Another significant reason why understanding native speakers can be tough is their frequent use of slang and informal language. Slang words and phrases are incredibly common in everyday, casual conversations, but they are almost never taught in traditional English classes. For example, if someone casually says, "What's up?" they're definitely not asking for your opinion on the weather. They're simply saying, "Hello," or "How are you?" Understanding these casual, everyday expressions is absolutely essential if you want to keep up with native speakers in real-world situations. 4. The mystery of connected speech. Lastly, there's something called connected speech. This is when words are pronounced together so closely that it's hard to separate them into individual words. For instance, when a native speaker says, "I'm going to go," the words are often linked together and might sound more like im-guh-nuh-go, instead of saying each word separately and clearly. If you're not familiar with this phenomenon, it can make listening to fast speech particularly challenging. But please don't worry. All of these aspects are perfectly normal. Native speakers don't always speak perfectly in the way a textbook might describe, and with some consistent practice, you will absolutely be able to understand them much more clearly. It takes time, dedication, and patience, but it is completely possible. And in today's episode, we're going to go over some practical tips and techniques to help you conquer these challenges and boost your understanding. Practical tips and techniques to boost your listening skills. Tip 1. Immerse yourself in real conversations. 1. Of the absolute best ways to get better at understanding native speakers is to listen to real conversations. This means actively listening to people speaking naturally, not just recordings of slow or heavily scripted speech. Why? Because as we discussed, native speakers don't speak like textbook recordings. They speak quickly, use slang, and connect their words together in ways that might be entirely new to you. So how can you do this effectively? Start with podcasts or YouTube videos. Choose topics that genuinely interest you, whether it's about sports, the latest tech gadgets, fashion, or even cooking. The more you listen to natural conversations, the better you will become at understanding how native speakers talk. Focus on the main idea. Here's a crucial tip. Don't obsess over understanding every single word. Instead, try to grasp the general meaning or the main idea of the conversation. The primary goal is to get used to the speed, rhythm, and natural flow of spoken English. If you don't understand a word, that's perfectly okay. Just keep listening and try to catch the overall message. Don't be afraid to rewind. It's completely normal to need to hear something more than once. Don't hesitate to rewind a few seconds or even a full minute and listen again. Over time, your brain will start to get accustomed to the sounds and patterns of spoken English, and you'll begin to understand more and more with each listen. Tip 2. Pay attention to accents, as I mentioned earlier. There are many different English accents, and each one has its own unique pronunciation, intonation, and rhythm. The way people speak in London sounds distinctly different from the way people speak in New York or Sydney. If you're struggling to understand a particular accent, it's crucial to practice specifically with that accent. Target your listening. If you know you'll be speaking with people from a particular region, like the United States or the UK, try to focus on listening to that accent more frequently. For example, you could watch TV shows or movies that feature characters predominantly from that region. Or you could seek out podcasts that specifically feature speakers from that area. Embrace exposure. The more exposure you get to a particular accent, the easier it will become to understand it. Your ears will adapt, and your brain will start to map the new sounds. Patience is key, and remember, don't be discouraged if you can't understand everything right away. It takes time, and the more you practice, the more natural and effortless it will feel. Tip 3. Focus on the key words when native speakers talk. They often speak quickly, but don't worry if you miss a few words here and there. The key to understanding is to focus on the important words in a sentence. Native speakers often leave out small words like is, are, or the, or they may shorten them considerably in casual speech. While these small words are important for grammar, they don't always affect the overall core meaning of what's being said. Identify the meaning carriers. Instead of stressing about understanding every single word, try to focus on the key words that carry the most meaning. These are usually the nouns, names of things or people, verbs, action words, and adjectives describing words. Practice summarizing. For example, if someone says, "I'm going to the store to buy some groceries," you don't necessarily need to perfectly understand to or some. Just focus on store, buy, and groceries. That will help you get the main idea. You can practice this by listening to a conversation and trying to pick out the most important words. Then, try to summarize what the conversation was about in your own words. This technique will significantly help you improve your understanding of native speakers, especially when they speak fast or use unfamiliar vocabulary. Tip 4. Leverage subtitles strategically. If you're watching movies, TV shows, or YouTube videos, using subtitles can be an incredibly powerful tool to help you understand what's being said. Subtitles are especially helpful because they allow you to see the words as you hear them, which helps you match spoken words with written text. This is a fantastic way to improve both your listening and reading skills. Simultaneously, gradual transition. Here's a helpful strategy. Start with subtitles in your native language if you need extra support to grasp the overall plot or content. Once you feel a bit more comfortable, switch to English subtitles. This will allow you to see the exact words being spoken in English and will help you get used to how the words are pronounced and connected. Eventually, you can challenge yourself by watching without subtitles at all. This will help you focus more intently on listening and understanding the spoken words without any visual distractions. Use as a guide, not a crutch. One important thing to remember is that not all subtitles are perfect. Sometimes they don't match exactly what the speakers are saying, especially with slang or very informal language. But don't worry. Just keep listening and use the subtitles as a guide, not as a crutch. Over time, you'll start to understand more without needing them. Tip 5. Break the speech into chunks when you're listening to a native speaker. It can sometimes feel overwhelming because they seem to speak in long, uninterrupted sentences. But the truth is, native speakers naturally tend to break their speech into smaller, manageable chunks. This is especially true in conversations where speakers often pause briefly between ideas or phrases. Identify natural pauses to improve your understanding. Practice by identifying these natural pauses. For example, listen to a sentence like, "I went to the store, and then I saw my friend, and we decided to grab some coffee." There are clear, natural breaks between "I went to the store," "I saw my friend," and "we decided to grab some coffee." These are inherent breaks in speech that can make it much easier for you to understand. Practice with pauses. You can practice this by listening to a short conversation and pausing it after each chunk. Try to understand the meaning of each part before moving on to the next one. This will help you process information in smaller, more digestible pieces. It's making it significantly easier to understand fast speech. Tip 6. Master the art of shadowing now. Let's talk about a powerful technique called shadowing. Shadowing is when you listen to a native speaker and immediately repeat what they say, trying to match their speed, rhythm, and pronunciation as closely as possible. It's like you're their shadow, copying their every word. Dual training. This is an incredibly powerful technique because it trains both your ears and your mouth simultaneously. By actively listening to and immediately repeating the sentences you hear, you'll become more familiar with how native speakers speak. You'll also naturally improve your pronunciation, rhythm, and intonation, all of which are crucial for understanding spoken English. Start small. To get started with shadowing, choose a short video or audio clip that features natural speech. Listen to a sentence or two, then pause and repeat exactly what you heard. Try to copy the way the speaker says each word, paying close attention to their tone and how they stress certain words. This will help you sound more natural and make it easier to understand other speakers who talk in a similar way. Consistency. It's over perfection. Don't worry if you can't keep up perfectly at first. Your shadowing takes practice, and it's perfectly okay if you don't get everything right the first time. Keep practicing consistently, and over time, your understanding of native speakers will dramatically improve. Tip 7. Practice listening to different accents as I mentioned earlier. Accents can definitely make it harder to understand native speakers. But this doesn't mean you should avoid them. In fact, the more you expose yourself to different accents, the better you'll become at understanding a wide variety of English speakers. Broaden your exposure. Start by deliberately listening to a range of accents from different regions or countries. You could listen to British, American, Australian, Canadian, Irish, or even African English accents. Each accent has its own unique sounds and ways of pronouncing words. By practicing with different accents, you'll train your brain to understand English in a more versatile way. Global entertainment. If you're not sure where to start, you could try watching TV shows or movies from different countries. For example, you could watch a British movie, then an American one, then an Australian one. Listen carefully to how the characters speak and try to notice any differences in their pronunciation. Over time, you'll find it much easier to understand people from different parts of the world. Tip 8. Strategically slow down the speed if you're struggling to keep up with the natural speed of native speakers, there's absolutely no harm in slowing things down a bit. Many podcasts, YouTube videos, and audiobooks allow you to adjust the playback speed of the audio. Gradual increase. Start by listening to content at a slower speed, for example, 0.75x or even 0.5x. As you get more comfortable and your comprehension improves, gradually increase the speed. By slowing things down, you'll be able to catch more words, process the information, and understand the speaker's tone and rhythm more clearly. Build confidence. Once you feel confident at a slower pace, challenge yourself by increasing the speed just a little, bit at a time. This gradual process will help you build up your listening stamina and ultimately keep up with faster native speakers in the future. Tip 9. Don't be afraid to ask for clarification finally, and this is a big one. Remember that it's absolutely okay to ask for clarification if you don't understand something. Native speakers are usually very understanding and will be happy to repeat what they said or explain it in a different way. Embrace the learning process. Don't be embarrassed. If you don't understand something immediately, everyone has been there. If you're in a conversation and you didn't quite catch something, just say, "Sorry, could you say that again?" Or "I didn't quite understand. Could you explain it differently?" Most people will appreciate that you're making an effort to improve your English and will be more than happy to help you out. This is a sign of a good learner. Tip 10. Utilize context clues, one of the best ways to understand native speakers, even when you miss a word or two, is to use context clues. When you're listening, the situation, the topic of conversation, and even the body language of the speaker can give you a lot of information about what's being said. Inference power, sometimes. If you don't understand a specific word or phrase, try to figure it out based on the overall meaning of the conversation. For example, if you're in a conversation about food and someone says something like, "I'm going to grab a bite," even if you're not sure about the exact meaning of bite, you can guess from the context that they're talking about eating. Connecting the dots. Context clues are the little hints in the conversation that help you fill in the gaps when you don't understand every single word. This technique works in a lot of situations, not just with food or daily life topics. For example, if you're listening to a story and someone says, "The car broke down and we had to call for a tow," you can likely guess that. Tow means help with getting the car to a repair shop, even if you don't know the exact dictionary definition of the word. Over time, your brain will become much better at picking up on these clues, and it will make understanding native speakers significantly easier. Tip 11. Be patient with yourself. This might be the most important tip. It's crucial to be patient with yourself when it comes to understanding native speakers. Language learning is a journey, a process, and it takes time too. Adjust to different speeds, accents, and speech patterns. It's completely normal to feel like you're not understanding everything right away. But please don't let that discourage you. Celebrate small wins. Remember, fluency doesn't happen overnight. Every single time you listen to a native speaker, you're making progress, even if you don't immediately realize it. The key is to keep practicing consistently and to keep gently pushing yourself. Over time, your brain will start to recognize the sounds and structures of spoken English, and it will become easier and more natural to understand. Embrace the process. If you ever feel frustrated, take a short break and remind yourself of how far you've already come. It's not about perfection. It's about progress. Celebrate the small victories, like understanding a sentence you couldn't before, or catching a word that used to be unclear. These moments add up, and before you know it, you'll be much more comfortable and confident in understanding native speakers. Tip 12. Practice with listening comprehension exercise. If you're looking for a more structured way to improve your listening skills, listening comprehension exercises are a fantastic resource. Many language learning apps, websites, and books offer exercises where you can listen to a recording and then answer questions based on what you heard. Targeted practice. These exercises are specifically designed to help you practice understanding different types of spoken English, ranging from casual conversations to academic lectures to news broadcasts. They help you focus on listening for specific information, which is a valuable skill in real conversations as well. Gradual progression. You can find a wide variety of listening comprehension exercises at different difficulty levels. Start with something that matches your current skills and gradually increase the difficulty as you improve. These exercises will not only improve your ability to understand native speakers, but will also help you learn to listen for details, which is crucial for effective real-world communication. Tip 13. Continually improve your vocabulary. The more words you know, the easier it will be to understand native speakers. If you're only familiar with basic vocabulary, it can be hard to keep up with fast-paced conversations, especially when native speakers use idiomatic expressions or slang. Daily learning. One effective way to improve your vocabulary is to commit to learning new words every day. Make a list of words that you encounter while listening to podcasts, watching TV shows, or reading, and then look up their meanings. Focus on learning words that are commonly used in everyday conversations. Over time, you'll notice that you're able to recognize more words and phrases when native speakers use them. Learn collocations. Another incredibly effective way to improve your vocabulary is by learning collocations, which are groups of words that often go together naturally. For example, instead of just learning the word make, learn common phrases like make a decision, make a mistake, or make an effort. This will help you understand how words fit together in real conversations and make your listening comprehension more fluid. Tip 14. Get comfortable with idiomatic expressions. Native speakers often use idiomatic expressions in casual conversations, and these expressions can be incredibly confusing if you're not familiar with them. An idiom is a phrase whose meaning is different from the literal meaning of the words in it. For example, it's raining cats and dogs doesn't mean actual animals are falling from the sky. It means it's raining heavily. Embrace the nuance. While it might be hard to understand idiomatic expressions at first, they are a very important part of natural, everyday speech. To get comfortable with them, start by learning some of the most common idioms. You can do this by listening to conversations and paying close attention to expressions that you don't understand. Look them up, and then practice using them in your own speech. Over time, you'll find that you start recognizing idioms more easily, and your ability to understand native speakers will significantly improve. Tip 15. Practice active listening. It's vital to practice active listening. Active listening means that you're fully engaged and focused on the speaker rather than just passively hearing the words. You listen actively, you pay attention to the speaker's tone, body language, and the overall context of the conversation, all of which will help you understand the meaning more clearly. Paraphrase 2. Confirm. You can practice active listening by trying to repeat what the speaker says in your own words. This is called paraphrasing, and it's a great way to check your understanding. If you can repeat what you've heard accurately, it means you've understood the message. Let them finish. Active listening also means that you don't interrupt the speaker. Let them finish their thought before responding. This will help you catch all the details and make it easier to understand the full message you're trying to convey. Tip 16. Join conversation groups. One of the absolute best ways to improve both your listening and speaking skills is by joining conversation groups. Conversation groups are a fantastic way to practice real-world conversations with other learners or even with native speakers. Find your community. You can find these groups online or in person, depending on where you live. Many apps, websites, and social media platforms host online conversation groups where you can practice English with others from all around the world. Diverse exposure. The great thing about these groups is that they give you a chance to practice listening to different accents and speaking in a relaxed, non-judgmental environment. Plus, you'll often get feedback from other people, which can help you improve your listening and speaking abilities. Active engagement when you participate. In conversation groups, try to focus not only on speaking but also on listening actively. Make sure you understand what others are saying before jumping in with your own thoughts. This will help you become more comfortable with the speed and unpredictability of real conversations and significantly improve your ability to understand native speakers. Tip 17. Focus on stress and intonation in English. The stress and intonation of a sentence can significantly change the meaning of what's being said. Stress refers to which syllables or words are emphasized in a sentence, and intonation refers to the rise and fall of the voice while speaking. These are crucial parts of spoken English, and they can sometimes make it tricky to understand what's being conveyed, meaning through emphasis. For example, if someone says, "I didn't say you stole my book," depending on which word you stress, the meaning of the sentence can change entirely. If you stress you, it implies someone else might have stolen it. But if you stress say, it means you didn't speak those words. Mimic and practice to improve your understanding of stress and intonation. Try listening to native speakers and paying close attention to which words they stress in each sentence. Notice how the pitch of their voice rises and falls. You can also practice repeating sentences, actively copying their stress and intonation. This will help you understand the natural rhythm of spoken English and significantly improve your ability to follow conversations. Tip 18. Use transcripts and listen again sometimes.
Wow.
It's incredibly helpful to use transcripts to aid your understanding of what native speakers are saying. Many podcasts, YouTube videos, and audio resources offer transcripts that show the exact words being spoken. You can use these transcripts to follow along while you listen. The 3-pass method. Here's a great practice method. First, listen to the conversation or audio without the transcript. Try to catch as much as you can. After listening, check the transcript to see what you missed or misunderstood, then listen again while reading along with the transcript. This will help you connect the sounds you're hearing with the words you see, making it easier to understand spoken English in the future. Gradual independence. Once you get more comfortable with this, try to listen to the conversation again without the transcript and see how much more you can understand. Over time, you'll notice that you rely less and less on the transcript and understand more from just listening. Tip 19. Learn to recognize filler words. Native speakers often use filler words in their conversations. These are words or sounds that don't add much literal meaning, but are used to fill pauses, give the speaker time to think, or signal that they're not finished speaking. Some common fillers in English are words like, and like, don't be distracted. First, these fillers can be distracting or confusing because they may make the conversation sound less clear or less polished. But don't worry, fillers are perfectly normal in everyday speech. They're often used to keep the conversation flowing naturally. Focus on content. Recognizing them will help you focus more on the important, meaningful parts of the conversation. The key is to not get too distracted by fillers. Instead, train your ear to filter them out and focus on the main points the speaker is trying to make. Once you start recognizing fillers, you'll be able to process them without getting bogged down and focus on the actual content of the conversation. Tip 20. Watch TED Talks and other educational videos if you're looking for high quality, clear English speech. TED Talks are an excellent resource. TED Talks feature speakers from all over the world talking about interesting and thought-provoking topics. The speakers in TED Talks tend to speak clearly and at a moderate pace, which makes it easier for English learners to follow along. Structured and accessible. You can start by watching TED Talks with English subtitles, just like with movies and TV shows. After you feel comfortable, challenge yourself to watch without subtitles to further improve your listening skills. TED Talks also offer transcripts for most videos, so you can follow along and learn new vocabulary. Diverse and engaging content. The topics covered in TED Talks are often engaging and informative, and they expose you to a wide range of vocabulary. By watching TED Talks regularly, you can improve both your listening skills and your ability to understand complex ideas in English. Tip 21. Focus on practical vocabulary when you're trying to understand native speakers. It really helps to focus on practical vocabulary that's used in everyday conversations. While it's great to learn advanced vocabulary, you'll find that native speakers primarily use common words and phrases in their daily lives. By focusing on these practical words, you'll be able to understand more of what's being said in real conversations. Real-world relevance. Start by learning vocabulary related to daily activities such as food, travel, work, hobbies, and shopping. Practice using these words in sentences so you can recognize them effortlessly when native speakers use them. This will help you feel more comfortable and confident in everyday conversations and make it much easier to understand what others are saying. Tip 22. Listen to different types of audio to truly improve your understanding of native speakers. It's a good idea to listen to a diverse range of audio content. You can listen to news broadcasts, interviews, podcasts on various subjects, radio shows, and even different types of YouTube videos. Versatile listening. Each of these types of audio will expose you to different speaking styles, paces, and vocabulary, which will help you become more versatile in your listening comprehension. For example, news broadcasts tend to use more formal language, while podcasts or YouTube videos might be more casual and conversational. By listening to a variety of sources, you'll get a more well-rounded understanding of how native speakers communicate in different contexts. Tip 23. Keep a listening journal. One incredibly helpful tip for improving your listening skills is to keep a listening journal. In this journal, write down new words, phrases, and expressions that you hear while listening to native speakers. You can also make notes about the context in which they were used, how the speaker said them. Personalized learning by keeping track of the words and phrases that are most difficult for you to understand. You'll be able to focus your learning efforts on them. You can even try using these words in your own speech to practice and reinforce what you've learned. This will help you build your vocabulary and significantly improve your ability to understand native speakers over time. Tip 24. Utilize technology and apps in today's world. There's an amazing variety of apps and technology available that can actively help you in improving your apps and English listening skills. These tools can give you the opportunity to practice listening anytime, anywhere, making it easier to fit practice into your busy life. Dedicated language apps. Some of the best apps for improving listening skills include language learning apps like Duolingo, Babbel, and Memrise, which focus on building your vocabulary and listening comprehension. These apps often feature audio clips and quizzes to test your understanding of spoken English. Another great option is Anki, a flashcard app that can help you memorize new words and phrases that you hear in conversations or while watching videos. Podcast. Powerhouses, but it's not just language-specific apps that can help. There are many podcast apps like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts that offer a wide range of English content at different levels. Whether you prefer listening to news stories, interviews, or podcasts about specific topics like science or business, these apps give you endless opportunities to practice listening to native speakers. Immersive conversation apps. For more immersive practice, there are also apps designed specifically for listening to English conversations and connecting with others, like HelloTalk and Tandem. These apps connect you with native speakers who can help you practice listening and speaking in real conversations. It's like having a language partner wherever you go. Personalized progress. The great thing about using technology is that it makes learning interactive and personalized. You can adjust the speed of the audio, repeat difficult sections, or even slow down the conversation to make sure you catch every word. It's an excellent way to track your progress and practice at your own pace. Wrapping up in your next steps, thank you so much for spending this valuable hour with me today on the English Fluency Teacher channel. I truly hope you enjoyed this episode, and more importantly, found these comprehensive tips incredibly useful as you work on mastering your listening skills. Remember, understanding native speakers doesn't have to feel out of reach. It's all about practicing consistently, applying these strategies, and most importantly, giving yourself the patience and kindness you deserve as you grow. Every step, no matter how small it seems, is a step forward. Celebrate your progress every chance you get, because each effort brings you closer to fluency. To quickly recap today, we covered why native speakers can sometimes be challenging too. Understand and shared practical, actionable steps to make it easier for you. From immersing yourself in real conversations and the power of shadowing, to breaking speech into manageable chunks and learning to identify diverse accents, We've explored a wealth of tools and techniques that can set you up for success. Don't forget, practice really is the key. The more you work these strategies into your routine, the more natural and confident you'll begin to feel. Now, it's your turn to take what you've learned today and put it into action. Try rewinding that favorite scene from a TV show to listen for connected speech, or spend a few minutes shadowing a clip you love. Every bit you practice makes a difference. And consistency is your best ally. If you found this episode helpful, I'd absolutely love it if you could share it with someone else who's learning English. Supporting each other makes the language learning process even more rewarding and fun. After all, we're stronger when we learn together. And please, don't be shy about reaching out. I'd really love to hear from you. Which tips are you most excited to try? Or do you have your own fantastic strategies for improving listening skills that you'd like to share? Whether it's a message, a comment, or even a social media post, feel free to connect with me and share your thoughts. If you tag me, I'll be sure to cheer you on and celebrate your progress. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe to the English Fluency Teacher channel so you won't miss out on any new episodes. Next time, we'll be tackling another engaging topic that's sure to help you to improve your English speaking skills and build even more confidence. I'm here cheering you on every step of the way. I can't wait to continue this incredible learning journey together. Thank you again for being here with me and investing in your English skills. I'm so proud of the effort you're putting in and all the remarkable progress you're making. Believe in yourself and enjoy the process because you're doing great. Until next time, keep practicing, stay patient, and remember, you've got this. Take care, my friend, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye for now.